Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the first installment of our Acadiana Business Resource webinars. These webinars are brought to you by business resource partners from across the Acadiana region, including One Acadiana, LEDA, Opportunity Machine, the Downtown Development Authority, the Louisiana Small Business Development Center at UL Lafayette, Acadiana Workforce Solutions, the United Way of Acadiana, and other local chambers and economic development offices, including the Acadia Parish Chamber of Commerce and Vermilion Economic Development Alliance. We have come together to support Acadiana's business community, particularly our small businesses, in response to COVID-19 by hosting a series of webinars on timely and relevant topics. And we're grateful to be joined by several small business owners who are going to discuss getting your business online, ready to sell online. I'll hand it back off to Destin at this point, who will introduce our first presenter.
Thank you, Andre. Good morning, everyone. My name is Destin Artigo, the Director of Opportunity Machine for the Lafayette Economic Development Authority. Opportunity Machine is Lafayette's Center for Entrepreneurs, providing space for incubation and education content for growing and sustaining businesses. After today's webinar, if you're interested in more strategies on how to pivot your business to be more sustainable during the current economic climate, please sign up for our newsletter at opportunitymachine.org and follow us on Facebook. I would also like to mention that LEDA has compiled a list of resources available to businesses and their employees. Place the links for that in the chat box right now for everyone to see, so that way it's easy for everyone here. Here we go. All right, so I just posted all the links that I'm going to mention briefly, so that way it's easy for everyone to read and know what they are. You can find a list at lafayette.org/COVID. We will continue to update that list as we learn more. For a list of businesses hiring additional workers to meet customer demand during COVID-19 public health emergency, you can visit our COVID-19 Help Wanted page at lafayette.org/Help Wanted. If your business is hiring, please let us know the details by emailing jobs@lafayette.org. And if you're looking for other job opportunities, visit LEDA's virtual job fair at lafayette.org/jobs, where you can find LEDA's year-round jobs board, and jobs can be searched by category as well. And finally, we have assistance for artists, musicians, and service industry workers impacted by COVID-19 at lafayette.org/assistance. At this time, I would like to introduce our next presenter, Tara Guidry with Cajun Crate. Tara originally launched CajunCrate.com as a subscription box service, but has since expanded it to a full Cajun supply store run exclusively online. Tara recently launched Local Solutions along with Crystal Rogers. Local Solutions helps Louisiana business owners with e-commerce and other online solutions. So with the effects of COVID-19 continuing to evolve and businesses closing, we've asked Tara, as one of OM's e-commerce mentors, to present tips that will help your business offer local delivery, pickup, and get online ASAP. Okay, Tara, take it away.
All right, thank you, Destin. I will get right to it. So right now, more than ever, online or retail businesses of all kinds are having to pivot. Gyms are offering things like Zoom classes where they're doing workout classes online. Kids are doing school online. Restaurants are switching to family style meals. Gift stores are offering bundles and doing the thinking for their customers. And so what I'm here to talk about today is basically what can you do to switch your day-to-day brick and mortar business to get online as quickly as possible and serve your customer. Next slide. So the main tools I'll talk about today are Shopify and Square. These are my top two recommended tools to businesses that don't currently have a website solution to get on as quickly as possible. A lot of retail merchants are already using Square. So if you're already using Square, I would recommend you stick with it and you just activate the web store. It's only $16 a month. But it is free in the month of March. They're refunding all services such as payroll services, website services, and so on. Next slide. Okay, so the first one I'll talk about is Shopify. Shopify will help you get your products in the hands to your customers as quickly as possible by creating drop-off solutions, shipping solutions, and sidewalk pickup solutions as well. They are offering virtual gift cards to all plans and customer for all Shopify plans right now. So you can offer virtual gift cards, which would be emailed to your customers where they can redeem it on the store. This is a good idea for anyone to activate right now because people are trying to show their support for local businesses with gift cards for future purchases. As I already mentioned, local pickup and delivery. As the example I have on the screen, you can create not only different shipping options, but you can create a free delivery. You can set a minimum. For example, if you spend 25 or more, we will deliver to your door for free. Or you can just set a free pickup as well, so customers can still come to your store and pick up, but not shop in your store. So Shopify is now offering an extended 90-day free trial. So that way you'll have plenty of time to move your inventory online as quickly as possible. This is can be done as easily as uploading a spreadsheet to your of your inventory to Shopify. They have a ton of online guides at Shopify. So they have videos, step-by-step guides to make it really easy, along with online phone and chat support 24/7. Shopify is also a great tool because right now everybody's on social media more than ever. And so you can link your products to Instagram and Facebook and do more social media advertising. You can sell through Instagram and Facebook like that as well. Shopify is also another great tool if you are making a change to your business and you want to offer a membership. And so people can pay their membership dues and you offer something digital to them. They also have apps which will allow you to do subscriptions if you need a monthly subscription or can put anything on reoccurring revenue. And of course, they also offer digital downloads. So, for example, if you're an artist and you sell posters, but all of a sudden you know are not doing art walks anymore, you can sell digital downloads of your art instead. Or digital, if you're a musician and you want to sell, you know, an MP3 of your music instead of a CD or something like that, you can sell it online for a download. So as I said before, they're doing a 90-day free trial, and it's a really great way. It's also drag and drop design. So if you want a really clean looking store, sometimes people, the thought of making an online store is very daunting. Because I don't know anything about web design. It's very drag and drop and easy to use. Anyone can do it. And there's plenty of help out there that you can seek as well. Next slide. Okay, so the second one I will talk about is Square. So a lot of people are very familiar with Square. It is a free point of sale system, which makes it a great solution. And they're doing lots of things to help people get their products out there faster for, you know, this COVID-19 relief. So now everything that you sell online on Square, you can activate your web store. There should be a button when you log into Square that says, you know, bring your products online. You can select or deselect products that you want to sell online. So it's automatically going to integrate with your inventory. So if it sells online, it sells out of your store, etc. You can have order management and customer directory in there as well. You can now promote digital gift cards where people can buy gift cards to your store or business online, and it would be emailed to the gift recipient. And then they have now activated a sidewalk and pickup option, and delivery will be rolling out later this week. They also have something on their delivery, which you can schedule for later. So in the example I've shown here, you can schedule when you would like to pick up, the customer can schedule when they would like to pick up that item. And this can all be controlled by you. You can set pickup date. So if you want to have like office hours where you will be there for your customers to pick up, you can schedule that in your back end. This is also very easy to do. They have a ton of documentation and videos on how to do it online. Square also offers loyalty programs as well, things like payroll. They have email marketing built in as well. So it really is your one-stop shop if you're trying to do something very quickly and user-friendly. Go ahead to the next slide. Before I move on, I do want to mention that before jumping ship, definitely check with your current point of sale provider. They may be offering any something that I'm not aware of for COVID-19 relief. I do know some retailers in the area use a program called Lightspeed, and I did learn that they are offering 2% credit card processing right now, which is a very low rate, along with 3 months free of web store. So some other things to remember if you're selling online, definitely communicate with your customers, reassure them via email, let them know about your supply chain, let them know, what you're doing as a business to keep uh, your employees safe, let them know what you're doing, to help serve them, let them know your hours if you're closed. Just make sure to communicate maybe more than you were before, just so that way you're always on their mind or you're in front of them. Social distancing does mean that there are more people on social media. So make sure all your social media channels are linked back to your website, and always make sure to post stories on Instagram and Facebook. But make sure you are engaging with your customers. Don't just sell them, get to know them. This is a great opportunity to give them a behind the scenes look, get them to know the people uh, behind the brand, and give them thanks. Make sure you're showing your loyalty to your customers, because it does go a long way. And just remember, they are going through this too. So this is something that you have in common with your customers, and they are definitely going to be understanding about any type of delays or changes, or at least they should be, because this is a global problem. You can also use support chat channels like Facebook messengers with Square or Shopify, as I mentioned before, to answer questions online. You know, 90% of the world is on Facebook, or 90% of America is on Facebook. So I would definitely use Facebook as a great support channel. It's an easy way for your customers to get a hold of you. Next slide. Um, and last, we have online marketing. So right now is really the time to invest in loyalty. There are lots of loyalty programs out there, but definitely make sure you are reaching out to your current customers more than trying to get new customers. Now would be a good time to invest in customer service. Like I said before, you can definitely use chats through Facebook, but if you're having a lot of online business, there's a bunch of apps out there like Zendesk that have chat support, email support, and just make sure you are getting back to your customers as quickly as possible so you don't leave them in the dark. Trust is huge in the online industry. You definitely want to build trust with that customer. And now that your customer is online more than ever, you want to make sure they're still shopping with you. And then Shift your paid ad spend from acquisition to retention. So again, just focus more on keeping your current customers. And this is a survey that is going on daily basis with Klaviyo, an email solution that I definitely recommend. If you don't already have an email solution, Klaviyo is a great one to look into. But less brands are spending on ads, but ad views are going up. More people are online. So if you can afford to do Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, ads are being viewed more than ever right now. And it's a good way to get in front of your customer. And then lastly, since you're going to be online so much, make sure you're communicating with your employees as well. Slack and Google Hangouts are some of my favorite ways to communicate with employees. Slack is a chat channel where you can get thoughts and ideas organized, and do group calling. And then of course Google Hangouts as well are just great tools that are free out there, so that way you can chat with your team. And again, if you need assistance on any of this or have questions, you can reach out to us at Local Solutions. But there are plenty of Shopify partners out there as well, Square partners. But we really just want to help anyone get through this as quickly as possible, and we're happy to help answer questions as well.
All right, thank you, Tara. If you continue to have questions, please continue to enter them into the chatbot feature. We are going to move on to our next presenters, and we'll come back to the Q&A after all of our session 2 presenters have presented. At this point, I'm going to hand it over to Anita Begno with the Downtown Development Authority to introduce our next 2 presenters. And I'm hoping, Anita, that I've got your audio working. Let us know if you're there.
Hey, Andre, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Hey, Tara, thank you so much for that great information. I think ending on the online marketing tips, especially about building trust with your online audience, which may have interacted with you more person to person before this coronavirus season that we're in, is a great segue to our next 2 speakers. Andre mentioned that my name is Anita Begno, and I'm with the Downtown Development Authority. I represent a pretty small geographic area of Lafayette, but we are a large center of small businesses. And so we have put a lot of focus over the last week of talking to our small businesses, primarily our restaurants who have had to pivot to online sales. And so I have 2 representatives from downtown restaurants and businesses who are here to share some tips with you about pivoting on the fly during this crisis. These are 2 restaurant representatives. They've been talking to each other and folks in the restaurant industry a lot, but also to small businesses of other types. And I think some of the key lessons and takeaways that they're going to share with you this morning are not only for restaurants, but for businesses of all kinds who are moving their businesses online because of the current conditions that we're in. Another fact that I think is important is the businesses that they represented have opened in the last 2 years or less. So they're still technically kind of new businesses figuring out their customer base, their sales system, what works and what doesn't work. And so I think they're good examples of learning how to grow their business as a newer business, but also pivoting pretty hard right now over the last week. So first we're going to hear from Stephen Verrett. He's the general manager of Spoonbill. And then next we're going to hear from John Peterson. He represents Tula Tacos and Amigos and Central Pizza and Bar. And he also works with some online marketing for different types of businesses. So they both have some recommendations for you, and I think they both want to offer their help offline afterward if you have any questions. So right now I'm going to turn it over to Stephen.
Hey guys, what's going on? So I'm going to kind of go over a few things, but the main thing I'm going to cover is how to offer your customers a unique experience using technology. I have a background in about 15 years of web development, graphic design, branding, marketing, all that kind of stuff, and decided to switch to opening a restaurant. So I'm going to kind of go over a few things that I've kind of learned through not only just owning a restaurant and owning a small business, but Also kind of some of that other stuff like branding and you know, reaching out to clients and networking and all that kind of stuff. So you can go to the next slide. So the main thing I want you guys to focus on is your brand is your identity. Don't compromise it. Use that to your advantage. That's what people know you for. That is, the biggest thing you have going for you is your brand and kind of who you are as a business. Use that to stand out as much as you can amongst everybody else, because there's a lot of competing businesses right now trying to do the same thing. But we're in Lafayette, we're a community. We're not all necessarily in competition with each other. We're all here to help each other and make sure that we're all doing everything we can to make this community strive as much as we can. Yeah, you can go to the next slide. So right now, as we've, Tara talked a little bit on it, but adapting and pivoting is kind of the biggest thing we can do right now. For example, we put our entire menu online, and I'll kind of cover some of that more because that's all we could do. We really, we're taking phone calls and online orders because we have to do to-go or delivery right now. So for some of us, that might be completely reinventing ourselves, which is what we had to do at Spoonville. Spoonville, we had to basically just take our entire business and put it online and to go only. So, that completely changes everything, especially when you have a building that is known for, people come and sit down and enjoy themselves outside or inside or whatever, how it is. Call-ins are great and those kinds of things for a restaurant, but, people want to buy online just in general, especially when they're at home and they're being, sort of semi-forced to be home. So, they're going to be on their phones, their computers, at work. Anything you can do to get that in front of them with that device that they're already on is probably the most important thing you can do right now. We saw a huge increase in business where basically 95% of our sales, once we put everything up online, were going through our online platform. So, we rarely had any call-ins. It pretty much just went to majority online. Next slide. Yeah, so getting your online shop is the most important thing you do right now. Tara covered a few things, which is Shopify and Square, which are two amazing platforms. I'm pretty sure, like she said, they have discounts going on. We had the advantage of having a POS system called Toast that already had the built-in online functionality. All we had to do is kind of activate our menu, upload photos, all those kinds of things, and we were pretty much done. So I lucked out tremendously, to be honest. They gave us a discount, so it was 3 months free online to kind of get us through this time. A lot of these places, like there's Shopkeep, Shopify, Square, even Google has a place for you to put your products on and, create a Google shop essentially. Really just try to do everything you can to utilize all these platforms. We can put together links for you guys. I know, Tara has a few cool things. And then I have a friend, our friends Denny and Katie, who have Wild Child Wines. They use Shopkeep and they seem to love it. So that's pretty cool. I don't know what the kind of deals they're running, but we can look at all that kind of stuff. Your cameras on your phones right now are just as good as having a photographer come in. Really, all you have to do is just kind of position everything how you want to make it look and just kind of snap those photos and get that stuff online as fast as possible. As much as everybody was told to put everything to their websites right now, really, or over the past, right now you want to focus on getting everybody to your online shop. You want to get them directly to those products, directly interacting with the thing you're trying to sell the most. So for us, for example, we forgoed like our entire website on our Instagram and it just links directly to our food menu. Because that's what we want people to do. The rest of the stuff that's on our site is not as important as getting them to those products, getting them to access everything they need to, you want them to get to right now. Yeah, be intentional with your offerings. Make sure you're really just kind of giving them the things that you think that they need right now. There's some products that you don't even need to upload. You don't need to put on there. I mean, you might have like some sort of seasonal things that, are going to sell better right now than some of the other things in your, that won't sell in your retail shop or whatever. So, they're just trying to cover kind of that kind of stuff. If you want to go to the next slide, you can. So I want to kind of talk about this whole thing. John and I have talked throughout this. Our friend Colin Cormier, who owns Pops, and is also partners with John at the other two restaurants. My friend Mark Crampy, who owns Social. I've been kind of in contact with all these restaurants. Ross at Gentry Supply Company, just friends that I have who all have small businesses in town. Wine shop, all that at Wild Child Wines. And we've just kind of talked and just, we're all in this together. It sucks. It sucks bad, to be quite honest, but we can do this. I think Lafayette's got such a great community. Talk to your peers, talk to people who you think may have been you're in competition with. I promise you, people are more willing to help and listen to kind of each other now more than ever. And I think we need to use that to our advantage and become a stronger city and become a stronger group of, small business owners. And I think, ask your family and friends for help. If you need help taking photos, I'm sure your family and friends will gladly come over and help you do what they can do. So just don't be afraid like that you're in this alone by yourself. Like talk to people, make sure that you don't sit there and try to do this alone. That's pretty much all I have to say.
All right, we'll go ahead right over to John now.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was supposed to enter John. Hi, John.
Hey, hey everybody. Good morning.
Guys. So yeah, he's gonna give you guys a good little conversation about kind of what you can do or what John like marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah. Hey everybody. So I'm going to talk about a really kind of specific and narrow topic, which is how to structure your messaging in a takeout only world. And obviously I've geared that more towards the restaurant industry, but you can also take that as an online only world if you're in some other industry. And for the sake of full disclosure, I'll just let everybody know. So, we have Central Pizza and we have Tula Tacos. We made the strategic decision already after the first week of this situation to temporarily close Tula. Central is remaining open for the time being. So, I want to start by making the point that even the best messaging in the world can only do so much. It's why the information Heidi gave at the beginning is so important. So, along with everybody else, we're trying to take full advantage of those resources of our, private banking relationships. Tula will be back. We think it'll be better than ever. We have some great improvements in mind, but I just want to make that point to everybody that, let's do our best to make our messaging great at this time. But there's only so much that can do. I mean, this is an unprecedented situation that's outside of our control. So if you're like us with Central and you're doing your best right now to hang in there as long as possible without knowing how long this will last, then thinking about our messaging is important. And I really want to highlight 5 things that I think are pretty critical towards that. When we're structuring our message and we're deciding what to talk about, we want to make sure it's special. We want to make it clear and simple. We want to highlight the community right now. We want to seek engagement. And we want to make sure we continue to use our unique voice. Everybody's out there talking right now. Everybody's pivoting to online or takeout only. So it's crowded in a new way. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So I'll just quickly go through these 5 points. So the first thing is make it special. Right now, a lot of people are obviously home a lot more than usual. And guests still want to be delighted and surprised. We think that at Central, the atmosphere is a big part of the experience. Well, obviously, we can't offer atmosphere right now. So we have to find a way through our messaging to convey the feeling that people would normally get when they're in the restaurant. Or so, in your case, it may be in your retail store, whatever. And everyone's bored. So, think deep, make something special, make new twists on things, just be creative. Next. Make it clear and simple. Obviously, we don't know how long this situation is going to extend. And a lot of people are making a lot of changes really quickly out of necessity. So as you think about converting those decisions into messaging to let your guests know about them, be careful not to overwhelm with too many options. Don't throw an entire new, amended menu up all at once. There's going to be time. So think about what you have that's special, highlight them one at a time. Highlight those things that are easy to communicate. Everyone's communicating a lot more right now, so you only get a small slice of that attention. So just make sure you use it well. All right, next. Right now, more than ever, and this is always a good idea, but more than ever now, let's highlight community. So that could mean showing your team, talking about them, telling their story. In the case of a restaurant or anybody with a supply chain, talk about your suppliers, your growers, your partners. We really want to let customers and guests know that they're part of a network that extends further than they may realize and impacts more lives than they may realize. And lastly, of course, a time like this, it's really important to consistently be expressing our gratitude to those who are still supporting. All right, next. Seek engagement. I would venture a guess that people are spending a bit more time on social media right now than the norm. And so it's a good time to bring customers into your process. Just a couple little ideas, like you could crowdsource a special. If you have committed fans, they know your menu. They'll be anxious to share combinations that they like or ideas that they've had. So you can crowdsource those things or ask guests to share their at-home restaurant setup. Like I said before, we can't offer our atmosphere right now, but we can have fun with the idea that people right now are having to recreate atmosphere at home, and they can have a little fun with that too. All right, next. And finally, just to echo what Steven said, make sure to continue using your unique voice. It's tempting right now in a situation that is very serious to take on a serious tone, but let the CDC use the CDC voice. They can have the serious tone. You can still have fun. It's okay to do that. Obviously, just be cautious and kind about what you say and how you say it. Right now, we have to try to communicate through our online messaging, through social media, what we just can't communicate in person. And so we want to try to convey a little bit of the experience that people are missing strictly through our messaging. So we need to be thinking about how we can do that. I think that's it. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Tara, Stephen, and John. At this point, we have the remainder of the time for Q&A. So I'm going to turn it back over to Destin Ortego of Opportunity Machine to facilitate that. Please continue to enter your questions into the chat bot, and we will get to as many as we can. Destin?
Sure. So the first question I have is for Tara. And Anita asked that a lot of downtown restaurants are using KeepShare POS for, do you have any recommendations for setting up digital gift cards?
KeepShare?
Correct.
Is that what you're asking? I'm not, that's for digital gift cards. I mean, if I'm not familiar with KeepShare, but if they don't offer one already, I would just quickly set up a Square account. It's free, and offer online Square gift cards. And if someone comes in to redeem those, just redeem them through your Square system. But I mean, the money still goes in your bank account, and it's a quick, easy way to do a digital gift card. And they can easily be redeemed without having a totally different point of sale system.
Okay, so that ties into the next question. If you already have a website, what app is best to integrate some of the selling services you mentioned?
So if you already have a website but don't have a web store, I would recommend just getting on Square because it's super easy, it's super fast, and you could always just create a new tab on your website that says shop. And check with your current point of sale system to see if they offer linking website services. But Square would probably just be the easiest and fastest way to get it online. And then and Shopify, for that matter, is easy too, but Shopify could just handle your whole website. Square would be the easiest / cheapest way to do it fast.
And so for any GoDaddy website users to create online store and integrate digital gift cards, would Square be the recommendation as well?
Square would be the recommendation. I just built one in an hour, and I'd never done a Square online. I've done plenty of Squares, but not Square online stores. I did one for the first time the other day in an hour. It was super easy for Hawks Boil Up. She now has gift cards that you can redeem online. And you just get all your inventory on there quickly as possible. Square's an all a great one because it's all in one credit card processor, point of sale, website, and then later on when things get back to normal, it could easily transition back into your point of sale system.
And so for Stephen and John, since y'all just transitioned over to a little more digital, are any of you generating gift card sales already? And if so, what's the percentage look like?
Yeah, I mean, we were doing physical gift cards previous to this, and then thankfully our POS system has an online version of gift cards as well. So it was pretty simple to just kind of transition to that. Where again, I'm very thankful for the POS we chose. But we're seeing not as many as I would hope, to be quite honest. But we haven't really pushed the gift card as much as we've been trying to push our kind of everyday selling of food. Because just, it's kind of been the most priority for us right now. But, I will tell you this, I'm going to release another kind of push this week on social media for digital gift cards early this week. So yeah, I mean, I would like to see more in general, but I think, getting that out there, if you were to publicize it, push that as much as possible, you would sell it a good amount.
I should have mentioned this in ours, but we have not had the capability to adapt to online ordering and online gift cards as quickly as Stephen and some others have, just based on the POS system that we use. So that's part of why, I've had to really focus for our businesses more on messaging. And we do sell gift cards and we've continued to sell gift cards, but I don't think that there's really been a significant increase. And I mean, I don't really think that it's probably realistic to imagine an increase in gift card sales that would be hugely significant. I think someone who is really pushing them could maybe see like a 10 or 15% increase, which helps. But I wouldn't expect that to be a game changer right now.
Great. So this next question is Lisa posed it to Stephen, but after Stephen answers, if Tara or John would like to answer as well, feel free to jump in. So do you have any recommendations for online help to acquire business for service businesses, so such as legal or medical service businesses?
I mean, we have a lot of great agencies in town. I know I can't really give you kind of much on that right now where I'm at. We do have a lot of great, online agencies in town that can help you with that. Out the gate, I have nothing. I'm sorry. I've been so deep into the restaurant world lately that those kinds of things are kind of over my head these days.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of in the same boat with Stephen, but I will say, some of these messaging principles apply across the board. I mean, if you're looking to try to find more business right now, think about your identity, think about your brand, increase your messaging, whether through social media channels, through your email channels, whatever it is. I mean, these principles apply to any industry. So think of unique ways to talk about your services. Think of unique or novel ways to reach your target audience. And don't be afraid to be bold. Don't be afraid to have a little bit of fun with your messaging, as long as you're cautious and kind. So if you need to do more of that right now, just dig in on your messaging a little more, up the frequency, and try to dig into some creativity right now.
I'll chime. Oh, go ahead.
So this is the question. I just want to clarify. The question is for people who have services that would be normally done in person and how they would bring their business online. Is that the question?
Sorry, say that one more time.
I'm sorry. The question I just want to clarify is for people that have services like legal services or something like that that would normally do their services in person, but now are trying to bring their businesses online.
Yeah, and they're trying to acquire customers online.
I mean, I definitely think it's a pivot, but it can be done absolutely. There's a big portion of the medical community that was already making this shift before this situation. Um, you know, building a website with just a way to take transactions. Like I said, if you get set up on Shopify, there's plenty of um, membership um, membership apps. You can sell slots of time, and you can schedule meetings, and based off of those meetings take transactions. So it's not face to face, but you can definitely sell your time in uh, digitally online and use things like chat services, Zoom calls. I mean, my son, I just signed him up for karate, and now he cannot do karate because that is person to person and more than 10 people. So they're hosting like online classes where our membership went towards video training for us to show him how to do things at home. And they also have like an online classroom environment to talk about the lessons. So it definitely can be done.
Stephen, did you have something to add?
I was gonna say, things like Squarespace as well too. There's just plenty of these companies that are low monthly cost that can benefit you right now that don't require you to sign up for an entire year. So during this time, I think like what Tara was just saying, like there's services that you can have, you can get that allow you to talk to people through video or through audio or book slots of time. Like there's all that kind of stuff, and then most of them are monthly. So you can keep it past this situation or just get rid of it during that time and go back to business as usual.
Yeah, another great tool is Calendly. I can't ever say it right, but it's like free for certain features, and like I think the most advanced portion is $12 a month, but it can integrate with Zoom. It can make group events. You can section your day out in slots of time, whatever 15, 30, 1 hour increments, and people can go on your website, book your time. It integrates with Stripe, PayPal, HubSpot, all the things that you're probably already using before. They integrate together, but people can just book you by a slot of time. And all it is like a simple plug-in integration to a website, or heck, you can just send them a Calendly invite through an email, and you don't even have to have this published on your website to send people invites. And it also works with SMS. So look into a good SMS tool, or if you already have a customer base of phone numbers, you can send them notifications like, hey, you're doing business a slightly different way.
Great. Yeah, and I do want to add, I don't know if anyone, I see Kristen, you just posted a question about cosmetology. And I know that, hairdressers and cosmetologists are getting hit hard right now. Something that my brother-in-law did as a musician, I thought was really great. He had a show set up on Saturday. Obviously, he wasn't able to play that. So what he did instead was set up an Eventbrite. He had people, they paid $10 a piece to register for his online streaming, a live stream of his concert from his home. And whenever he had everyone register about 30 minutes, an hour, 30 minutes before the show, he went ahead and sent out an email with a private link to a YouTube stream. And so then you could get access to, the stream. And then what's great about it is that once you're done doing it through YouTube, you have that content to share later, or if people had trouble streaming it, they can always access it later once it's been finalized and uploaded on YouTube. And you can keep the link private, so that way it's not a public thing and people feel like they're getting their money out of it. So I don't know, for cosmetologists, maybe you can do webinars that you can charge for, even if it's just a small amount, educate people. Like we talked about earlier, people have a lot of hands now, and they're needing to do certain things themselves that maybe they paid someone else to do. So maybe figuring out ways to educate those people and then charging them some sort of amount for the education part of it, because that's still very valuable, might be able to help with that. Robert did pose a question. I think, Tara, you can probably help out with this. Getting us to link GoDaddy to Square is difficult. Can you discuss the process?
Okay, so what I would just suggest is have like just create a link in your navigation where it's actually not hosted. Okay, and real quick, I need to clarify it's linking to a GoDaddy domain or linking to a GoDaddy website.
Can you clarify that, Robert? He said both.
Both? Okay. Well, the linking to the domain, there are step-by-step instructions on how to do that. You would have to just modify your A record and your C name, which I know does sound difficult, but there are like step-by-step instructions. If you want to contact us at Local Solutions, we can definitely help you assist you with that. But as far as if you already have a GoDaddy website and you just need to put your store online, I would make another tab in your navigation, call it store, shop, whatever, and then just have the link point to your Square site, and you don't even have to redirect it to your domain. In my opinion, like it'll say whatever your business name dot square dot site, and at this point, like you don't even have to worry about directing it to your domain. So I would put new tab in your navigation, link the Square site, just keep the Square domain. To that navigation tab. So that way you can just get your products online as quickly as possible, and you can worry about redirecting it to your branded domain later.
Yeah, I would chime in that. I would just say, just get them to the store like as fast as possible, really. Don't worry about it looking pretty as far as a domain standpoint. Just make sure that they can get there and access what you're trying to get them easily and as quick as possible.
Yeah, on Square, there's a publish. When you go to publish your website, there is 3 options: buy your domain from Square, use your own domain, and then use a Square domain. Just use a Square domain. It's it's going to say yourbusiness.site or .square.site, but just go for that right now. It's the easiest and quickest way.
Great. So Catherine just posed the question of getting better at doing Facebook Live. Does anyone have any recommendations on how to get better? Catherine, if you want to specify a little bit, are you talking about just presenting in general or the content, thinking of types of content? While we wait for Catherine to respond to that, maybe we can just, if anybody has any suggestions for utilizing.
Yeah. What I would say is like I think there's kind of a thing right now where everybody is on their phone just because either they're bored or they just passing the time. They're on social media more than ever. Really creating some interesting videos, whether it's little fun videos or we just did one for our takeout thing that was pretty fun to make and tried to keep it lighthearted. But just showing processes of how your business works or showing off products in your store or kind of doing like some little reviews on your product or like I watched a video last night about just kind of like for restaurants, like taking people through your dining room, through your kitchen, going through your talking to your staff and kind of interviewing each person and how they're dealing with this situation right now, or trying to keep it fun, how you're trying to keep it fun in your workplace, like whatever you're trying to do, really just kind of show people a little behind the scenes take of everything, and use video to do that. It's great to show photos and all that kind of stuff, but I think people want to hear from you. Kind of that's a way for them to interact with you in a different way than just a photo can do for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'd also add just don't be afraid of making it perfect or of mistakes. Um, People like to see realness, and people don't mind mistakes and misspeaking and those sorts of things. So, if part of the question is how do I know if I content is good enough or if I'm ready to do it, just start doing it.
Yeah, and I would like to add, this is like, don't worry about how great it looks. Like, try to stay true to your brand as much as possible, but just get online. I'm really excited to see all these businesses getting online that I've wanted to be online forever already. I hate that it's having to happen this way. But just know, like, once, things get back to normal, keep your online store. This is always a great way to reach your customers. You make yourself more accessible to your customers. We are already a very online community. So this is really good. Also, a lot of people, especially brick and mortar retailers, always have a certain feeling towards Amazon because Amazon is the big box competitor. Right now is the best time to get your products online because Amazon is not accepting any more shipments inbound that are not essential. So if you sell a non-essential product, that product will be going away or not shipping as fast on Amazon because they are shifting their focus right now to shipping only essentials like food and household products. So get your products online because your customers still need your products.
Um, I'll add too, like if you make any kind of handmade goods or things that are personal to your store, you can sell that stuff on Etsy, and it not only will be sold locally but throughout the entire world. So getting stuff on a platform like Etsy and stuff like that is gonna help your business just for the long haul, but not just for the long haul, but for right now too. Is you can use Etsy as a shop. If you do sell goods that you make, you can't sell like a product that you buy from someone else, but you can sell anything that is created by you. You can sell on Etsy, and it's a really cool platform too.
And y'all use eBay. I can't tell you how much, Carrie's root I sell on eBay. For some reason people want to buy it through the platform eBay. But it is a great place to sell your products. Is eBay, Etsy's another good one, but definitely just look at any marketplace that you can sell your product on because that's just more places people will see you.
Yeah, I'll back real quick to the video portion of it. I'll share a little bit of or a tip from Ronnie Hess, Rally Marketing, that he always likes to talk about whenever it comes to doing live videos or videos in general. Think about how many people now are online and how many people are looking at your content utilizing their phone. How often are they going to turn their phone sideways to watch a video that's horizontal? So while vertical video may not one point in time wasn't the preferred form of video content, vertical video definitely now is the more convenient, especially when people are looking at it on their phone. So just something to keep in mind whenever you're creating video content. Don't be afraid to make it vertical because a lot of people are just naturally looking at their phone that way. Two more questions. One, I think is really important to talk about specifically whenever it comes to offering discounts. So I need to pose a question of there's a couple of restaurants that are offering 25% off retail price gift cards. Do you think that could help with sales or would that cause any issues in the long run?
Is this an open question? Okay. I think, that's something I've thought about and kind of struggled with in this situation. I tend to think that that can cause more trouble in the long run. Obviously, this is an open-ended situation. We're not really sure how long this will last. I would turn to how critical the information from Heidi was, how critical your individual banking relationships can come in right now, but you do have to be careful with discounting gift cards. Um, for the obvious reason that when those start coming back to you, they're not going to fully cover the cost of the goods that you're giving away on that credit. So just remember that selling gift cards is, deferring. So, you know, if you can do forecasts for that, and maybe I'm personally am opposed to it, to give you a short answer.
Yeah, I mean, the thing we've done in the past is we've done like if you buy $50, you get a $10 gift card. Um, and that's like the most I would probably do in a quote, discount. It is hard, like John's saying, it's hard to kind of, you have to remember that money isn't, it's, yeah, you have it now, but it's going to take away from your stock later. So it's gonna be great for the moment, but in the future it may come back to bite us. You know, so as much as we want to do that, it's hard to kind of, from a standpoint, make sense of that.
Going back to the video real quick and behind the scenes, show people your process, especially in the restaurant industry. The other night, the Fizos had a great live video on how their pickup line for crawfish was set up, and it had an amazing turnout. But it was really it really drove people to go there because they got to see the process. And it made them feel like, oh wow, this is the place I want to go to. It's really set up, it's really organized. So definitely be showing people your processes if you need some great video content.
Great. So we have 5 minutes left. I'd like to, no more questions. I'd like to leave it open for presenters to give any final thoughts on anything they may have forgotten to mention. Tara, we can start with you.
The only other piece of advice I'd really recommend is get online, of course, as quick, fast as possible. Make it pretty later. Always be working on it, but get your products in front of your customers, offer them pick up delivery, get creative. And then don't forget to work with other businesses. Right now is not the time to talk about competition. Try to talk collaboration because you know that business goes back and forth. And so now is a really great time to collaborate with other businesses. Try to think outside the box. See if you can help lift each other up in this time, and the business will come back to you.
Thank you, Tara. Stephen?
Yeah, I mean, echo what she said. I mean, really, just the main thing that we want to focus on is you know, getting your stuff in front of people as fast as possible. Whether that's your online store, video content, social media content, getting yourself out there to let them even know that you're open, what you're able to do right now, how you're able to serve them. Interact with them through comments. Like if you post something, they comment on it. Make sure you're interacting with those people, answer their questions, anticipate their needs through those questions, link to products that maybe they're looking for that you can kind of tell through the question they're asking about, like, hey, maybe you want to check this out or whatever it is. Really just try to do what you would normally do when they come into your space. Interact with them the same online. Just try to anticipate their needs, be there for them, and make sure that they're getting exactly what they want by the time they're done kind of interacting with you. And try to keep them coming back. With those interactions, with that relationship, you're kind of creating the same kind of experience they would have, or trying to create the same kind of experience they would have coming into your, whether it's a dining room or a retail shop or whatever it is. Keep that relationship.
Great. Thanks, Stephen. And John? Still there, John?
I think John had to cut out early.
Oh, okay.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm still here. I forgot to unmute myself. Sorry. So look, I don't want to end by seeming to strike a negative tone here, because I'm very optimistic about how we'll all get through this together. But I do want to encourage people to right now more than ever be data driven in your decision making. This may be a period of time that ends up being more about mitigating losses than trying to maximize revenues. And those two things can go hand in hand. And if you decide to keep operating and keep going, then absolutely do everything you can to pivot as well as you can, to sharpen up your messaging as much as you can. But please just pay close attention to all the resources that are available to you, to all the information that Heidi gave. And let's just try all, individually try not to find ourselves in a mode of frantic action. Let's make sure that we can remain thoughtful, remain data driven in how we decide how to proceed, and protect ourselves as much as we can, because we are going to get through this at some point. And we just want to make sure that each of us and each of our businesses and our employees and our partners and everybody else is in the best position possible when that time eventually comes. So that's all I'll mention in closing.
Thank you. And super one last thing, we're going to try and talk about some of these things in future webinars, hopefully. But Robert did pose the question of mentioning a little bit about saving money. Everyone has different costs. So I think this is a great time for everyone to really sit down, look at your costs, make sure you understand where your money's going. I mean, all the way to the fine little details of, you have pencil, and just understanding where that's going, how much it is, and do you need that expense right now, or can you pause it? Can you save it for, another time? So that way you're saving as much money as you possibly can. Just something to keep in mind. Okay, I'll throw it back over to Andre for closing.
All right, thanks, Dustin. Unfortunately, we're out of time, but thank you to all of our presenters and our participants. We will be sharing the video and other materials from today's webinars, which you can access as soon as they're available at oneacadiana.org/COVID-19-resources. And all of the partner organizations who made today's webinars possible will be sharing the video and materials as well. No, it's been taking longer than usual for WebEx recordings to be generated. So it may take a few hours before we can get the video ready, downloaded, and re-uploaded. But we're going to have it online as soon as we can to begin sharing out with folks. We hope today's webinars were helpful, and we look forward to offering additional Acadiana Business Resource webinars going forward. Stay tuned for follow-up emails from us and our partners. This concludes today's webinar, and thanks again.